What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 5 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Drazhoath the Ashen Old World campaign. And of course, we gotta start the episode overlooking Jarna Grund, always looking towards it as it will inevitably be under Drazhoath's control. And it'll be pretty great when it is, and then we can just look at it all the time. Anyway, what happened last time? So as we saw last time, that's what I usually say, Drazhoath had himself a very, very nice fight. I'm sure other fights happened, but his quest battle for that Hellshard amulet was fantastic. Definitely one of the closest we've had to losing a battle in many campaigns. Granted, I did go into it with some, under tier units for the battle, but we managed to survive, though the Kadai unfortunately were destroyed. We'll get them back up and running in short order right here at the Tower of Gorgoth in Mount Azgorh. Anyway, otherwise we have a few interesting things that have happened. We have war declarations upon us from both the Death Toll and the Caravan of Blue Roses to the south. We were always expecting to get into a fight with them, so frankly, the fact that they're going to preemptively attack us is probably a good move on their part. I would have done the exact same thing in their place. Between the episodes, I did go ahead and do one minor battle. We ended last episode off with Drazhoath around here somewhere, and there was this stupid little battle here at the Mines of Gorgoth, which we already defeated, but I didn't want to auto-resolve it a second time, simply because, well, our casualty replenishment rate is just atrocious right now. And actually, speaking of casualty replenishment rate, we are going to now, or at least for a couple turns, we are going to switch our techs to try to get to alchemical remedies as fast as possible. I assumed that we would have some kind of hero access to casualty replenishment rate, but clearly we don't, so we're going to spend a ton of armaments on this right after we first get mandatory service, and just for the recruitment cost reduction for all units, as we are now going to be building a second or third or whatever the army or armies, and we're going to need to reduce those costs as much as we can. So start with mandatory service and then move on up to reduced rations and then alchemical remedies, or alchemical remedies, and then we'll go right back to trying to get towards malicious compliance as fast as possible. So, that looks good to me. We do, by the looks of it, have a few other things to do this turn, so let's get to doing. Kuntij, you are going this way, as close to Arrowhawk Roost as you can. Still don't know where the full stack is of the... Oh, no, it's not here. Did they lose it? Oh, what the heck? Okay, no, there it is. Oh, no, it's going towards Nobbler Warrens. Huh. Well, that's not great. We'll probably have to chase them down, and we really don't want to waste time chasing right now, simply because, well, we gotta deal with these jerks. Well... You gotta do what you gotta do. If we lose a territory, we lose a territory. And just got to finish up with Pigbarter as fast as we can. Next up, what do we have? We will take Arrowhawk Roost, so there's probably no need to build anything here, but we could do a building upgrade, let's say here at Spice Market, and upgrade this to the next tier. Try to get that additional Demonsmith Sorcerer capacity. Frankly, we need those capacities everywhere. And besides, we get a little bit of extra research rate out of the Demon Smithies, so frankly, they should be built everywhere. We have 1,059 raw materials remaining, but we'll leave it, I guess, because we'll be upgrading a bunch of stuff at the same time next turn here in Mount Azgorh, once the Masterful Architects are good to go. You know what? If this army... Might as well name a few more Gobos. And just a few. I've been getting a lot of various Hobgob names, which I appreciate, because we're going to have a lot of Hobgobs in across several armies. This one is, of course, going to be the main one that can function on its own, whereas others are going to be a little bit more sort of travel together in big old groups of Hobgobs, and maybe a few artillery pieces or something with them. Whereas in theory, Gordas shouldn't need them. Anyway, Mangy Marauders for you. To go with the Mange Rovers, the Dire Gobs have been changed to one of the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders. Then we'll do, let's say, okay, this is Drazhoath's Hangnails. You can be Shin Takers. And let's do one of these guys. Let's do Squealing Swamplings, okay. Also not that easy to say. Not as bad as the Hog Boglins, but nonetheless. Anyway, you guys sit there and wait. We'll see what this army does. Vrongni the Grey. You, and ooh, let's also get this guy down here. And we'll have the Bull Centaur Torok join you for now. Get at least a few gobos up and running. We can easily make good use of the Hobgob archers. Yeah. We need decent numbers of them in pretty much every Hobgob army, and while we would like to start with the magma cannons and whatnot, we probably can't afford them taking 2 turns right now unless there's a simple way to reduce the construction time, but I don't know that there is here. Oh, and we can't build anything here because we don't have that Menstrual Architects up and running there. Otherwise, I think we'll hold on to the money that we have, simply because it's going to take a long time to do stuff. And next turn we might run out of labor because we need to spend like 800 or 1,000 labor to get the public order things, because 5 turns will be up at that point. Anyway, unassigned skill points, building upgrades available, outpost available, that's about it. I wonder if the unassigned skill points are on our convoy. Yes, they are indeed on our convoy. Let's do hidden stores for you. As we do everywhere, and you're about to arrive next turn. I don't imagine you'll get attacked again, or at least I assume not. I guess we'll find out right about... Wait, where's Draj? I guess, you know what, this is the place where we want to look now. Ooh, and it looks like Pigbarter decided to go for it, perhaps because we were in March stance and they decided that this would be a good idea, or perhaps because they can recognize the fact that we're all Hobgobs, and that makes it dangerous, especially as they're Hobgobs in March stance. Should be a pretty fun fight. Decent little early game stack of Imperials versus a decent little early game stack of Hobgobs. The enemy does have a lot of range fire available to them, so we do have to be careful, but we do have a fairly decent amount of cab to our names. Only very slightly faster than the Pistoliers, which might be of concern, but we'll figure it out. Before we get started, housekeeping. Yes, we did reach an engagement threshold, and this will be a longer episode, and should we reach the engagement threshold again this time around, we'll be getting a bonus episode later today. So do keep that in mind. 500 likes and 70 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long, plus the bonus episode this one as well, or today as well. Anyway, and after this episode, I guess we'll be lowering the threshold. So just one more time on those numbers. We're ready to go? We're ready to go. Go. Alright, here we go. The Hobgob army is online at last, and I'm pretty excited to see how it works out for us. Of course, it's not as buffed up as it will eventually get. The Hobgobs will only get stronger via technologies, buffs, skills, and all of that stuff, but well, we do have a lot of buffs on them already, and I'm thinking that they'll be pretty good. Major Marauders will lead the charge and fire their arrows into, starting off, looks like enemy Pistoliers. Now, the Imperials in SFO have a Pistolier summoning ability with defensive structures or something, and these are 2 free Pistoliers they got summoned on top of the army that they have. They got more Pistoliers coming in, so we gotta try to knock these guys out, otherwise it'll be a light cav duel, and we don't necessarily want that. We want to be able to harass the entire army as they approach with our wolf raiders. And I do really like the Gabo wolf raiders, or Hobgob wolf raiders. They're quite a nice light cav unit. They are irritating enough to be useful, and they're not super accurate in the sense that they're not overly accurate. What I'm getting is that there's a odd distinction between some units of a light cav. I noticed this when I was playing my Kislev campaign, my Katrin campaign, which also fantastic campaign for those who like Ice and Fire. I really enjoyed that one as well. But anyway, the problem with the Kosovites, the skirmisher cav, is that they have a tendency to over-target single units rather than sort of spread their arrows out into the line like these guys are doing here, which makes them ineffective. Like if half the unit hits all their arrows into one enemy, then they've wasted their entire volley and killed one guy. Not all light cavalry do this, or heavy cavalry, I mean, just generally ranged cavalry do this. It seems, I guess, to be tied to the accuracy stat, or maybe there's a hidden stat that controls it as well, but just something to keep an eye on. Anyway, what I'm saying is that the Hobgob wolf raiders don't do it, so that they're quite good at harassing enemy armies like this. And the enemy army is going to have to suffer this for a fair bit of time here. Their reinforcements are on the field, but we are staying all the way back here, and we're going to lead them towards us, and hopefully deplete our ammunition, and then send our Hobgob wolf raiders into melee later. But until then, we gotta keep that damage coming from the wolf raiders. And the best thing that the enemy can do is chase us off with a little bit of that pistolier action, but we should be able to win against the pistoliers. We'd get obliterated by outriders, potentially. At least without additional support. We'd probably have to charge them with the wolf raiders with spears instead. And just in case, that is why our spears are sort of hovering on the edge. We got one on each flank protecting the bow units, because these guys are anti-large, and if they get the opportunity to charge into a unit of pistoliers, then they will absolutely do so and tear them apart. Alright, looks like this unit of pikemen is nearly done. And also keep in mind that this is not going to be our only Hobgob army, but we do want the Hobgob armies to function differently from each other. I'm currently thinking that we'll probably do the other Hobgob army, or armies, because they'll probably have to move en masse, with artillery. And then obviously it makes sense not to care about our Hobgobs getting hit by our own artillery. The other option would be to intersperse some Bull Centaurs and Bull Centaur Renders and a couple Taurochs in their army, because they can move through their ranks and attack together, probably relatively easily with the Hobgobs. And just the thought. Anyway, looks like the enemy lord has moved out. He's got pistol, he's got a hammer, and he's got a hat, but not quite as fancy as our hats. They're trying, at least. Anyway, and here comes the Overseer to help out just a teensy bit, though I imagine that Gordas would have been able to handle it just fine. The enemy general is down to about half HP, though they should have another general on the approach as well, as this is the first army's unit. Oh, look at these two working together. Good job. I just gotta supervise the Hobgobs here. Anyway, looks like the general is nearly out. How's our ammunition looking? Ooh, looks like one of our units of Hobgob wolf raiders has managed to catch one of the pistoliers and deal decent damage to them. Of course, the enemy are approaching with halberdiers and with spears, so we have limited time to chase these guys down and destroy. But fortunately, we can back away pretty darn easily, because we got lots of movement speed. Even with debuffs from very tired, still extremely quick. And the movement speed will rise further as we get more buffs in Gordas' line. Anyway, looks like, a unit of handgunners taking a few shots at our Hobgob wolf raiders. We're going to back those off while we're busy obliterating those pistoliers. Still, I really love it when we do have a sort of skirmisher cavalry start the battle before the sort of the infantry and the main sort of stacks clash. It feels more realistic, you know? We had some javelin skirmishers or other types of skirmisher units prior to the main battle, and it would also be really appropriate. But yeah, feels like a more realistic battle, as odd as it may seem. Anyway, it looks like the balance of power is completely even. I mean, we've softened up the enemy, but it's not going to change matters all that much. But we are depleting our ammunition. We also do now have that Git summoning ability, some Hobgoblin Cutthroats, so we summon them to annoy some of the horses and just threw them at the enemy to distract them and get in their way while they attempted to chase down our Wolf Raiders. Wolf Raiders keep sending those volleys. Unfortunately, the pikemen are shieldless. I mean, they're a tier 1 unit, but they do have anti-large, so we can't really charge them directly. At the very least, not until they're so close to breaking that the charge would break them fully. Our laborers have also arrived, and they're just going to be a big old line in front of our more organized Hobgob units directly behind them. Another unit of pikemen on the approach, and at the very least the first army, and by the looks of it, all 5 units of pistoliers that the enemy have has been destroyed. And I guess it is pretty even in some ways, as we have 5 Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders with bows, and the enemy had 5 pistoliers. Here comes another unit, gonna try to chase these guys down. And these are Oglacon's Wolf Boys, so they've got spear and they've got bow alike. And by the looks of it, they're certainly fast enough to catch up to these guys, which will be really nice and useful in the future. Plus, this army will have a very easy time chasing enemy armies down, and because our infantry will be faster than a lot of enemy infantry, and we have plenty of cav to chase enemies down, which, to be fair, is not going to be true of most of our other armies, and because, well, except for those that are mixed together between Chaos Dwarves and Hobgoblins, yeah, the Dwarven infantry is, as we've already seen, with Drazhoath's army, is far too slow. Anyway, a nice charge, or charges I should say, from the Oglacon's Wolf Boys, breaking the pistoliers, then charging the crossbows, and then moving to another crossbow unit just to try to knock them out of formation and tie them up. Our other units have run out of ammunition and have moved to the enemy back lines, overrunning the enemy handgunners here and destroying 2 units rather rapidly, especially now that the main enemy stack has moved away from them. Speaking of the main enemy stack, piles of spears and swords are moving in, and we're going to start the battle off by sending all of our laborers at them, tire them out a little bit in the same manner that we usually would do with zombies. Kind of put everything into perspective and think about it in terms of undead. Anyway, while the laborers are tying them up, our sneaky gits are able to flank and hit the enemy in the back as well. The halberdiers on the left flank getting pretty much instantly destroyed by the trustworthy gits and the hog boglins. You gotta love those precursor weapons of theirs. The bounce power has shifted to about, let's say 70% in our favor. The second enemy general, I believe, is done for as well, as the Overseer is stomping on him with his great Taurus. And now our Hobgob Cutthroats, together with our range Hobgob Raiders, or whatever they're, Hobgob Archers, whatever they're called, are helping out as well. Also have that second Overseer from the second army, sort of helping out the melee line just a little bit. Seems like an appropriate balance of Chaos Dwarves to Gobs here. And we got our Demon Smith here as well. Gotta try to level him up as best we can. I'm still on the fence about whether we keep the fire one or change him out to a metal one in particular for this army. But we'll see. Obviously, we'll have all the types of Demon Smiths in terms of having access and doing work with all the lores. Anyway, the bounce power continues shifting in our favor. Gordas will run down. Oh my lord, that was brutal. That was a lot of blood. This guy's head just exploded like a grenade, and in a good way. Anyway, we've got bounce power up to 90% in our favor. The enemy army has overrun. Their back line has been absolutely crushed by our fast movers, who have now switched to charge the rear lines of the enemy infantry, at least such infantry that remains. Bounce power shifts to 100%, and with that, the Hobgob's debut solo battle is theirs. Lovely. Lovely work against the Imperials. Solid fight. Alrighty. Ooh, wow. Ooh, wow. That's a lot. What, 2,000 labor for that and barely any minute? Huh. You gotta fight humans some more. They're worth a lot of labor. Go figure. Is that why? Why did we get so much more than usual? Drazhoath has defeated way bigger forces than this and gotten nowhere near as many, and I assume he gets more post-battle captives than this random guy. Huh, weird. Not that I'm complaining, but odd. This will be enough labor to rush a few things. Ooh, in fact, we might want to rush the tower and get tier 4 and thereby acquire Fire Glaives and Infernal Ironsworn, particularly for Drazhoath, especially since his army is far away and unsupported by stuff. Yes, good Ruinous, good. Anyway, let's see how we did here. The riders did fantastic, obviously. Gobs did well they only had one other unit of wolf raiders without bows to beat, and for the bow ones, one of the unnamed ones actually beat the two named ones. Good job. Brimstone bandits, nope, hobgoblin archers. How about you? Squealing swamplings, you beat the other hobgoblin cutthroats, and for the sneaky gits, the trustworthy gets proved how trustworthy they were, with 283 kills and 24k damage, very solid for a hobgob unit. Obviously, we're taking the labor. 2 kills on Gordas, 2 lords. Alrighty, and there's not much left of this, which means we should be able to destroy both armies and take Arrowhawk Roost and just back the heck up and get to where we need to go, i.e. to defend our territories. Ice Court will confederate the Ropsman clan. Lazarg's destroyed, don't care about that. Enemy killed in battle, Gold Sigil Sword, Talisman of Endurance, nice. Everlasting Glacier. Physical resistance and frostbite attacks. Interesting. Wait, what kind of item was that? Oh, it was a magical item, meaning we'd have to choose between frostbite attacks and flammable on that missile damage, which, I don't know about that. Maybe on an Overseer? They do have fire attacks, and they don't have an applicable effects. Oh, but they can't carry magical items, huh? So yeah, we'll have to choose. Interesting. Anyway, mandatory services up and running, recruitment cost reduction. Capture the Haunted Grove. Yes, we're gonna have to. Convoy completed as well, with a free feral mammoth in the army. Lovely to see. Next up, we're going to reduce rations for upkeep reduction minus 5%. Gotta love that upkeep reduction, and it's definitely worth the armament expenditure. Next up, well, let's figure out how to deal with this. Alright, first of all, let us... no, you can't do that. Alright. I guess both of you will attack. I don't know which of the armies attacked us, which is unfortunate because we have to catch them both and still reach Arrowhawk Roost. Let's hope that we can. Alright, you go for this. Can he back off? No. Okay, good. We'll obviously auto-resolve that, and it looks like the auto-resolve won't kill off our units. Lovely. And still a decent bit of labor for that, and a decent bit of money. Well done. Well done indeed. Oh. Kuntish does have Tyrant, or that thing that gives him extra post-battle loot, doesn't? Well, but it's only plus 15%. That wouldn't account for the major difference. Let us... Okay, basically non-healing versus non-money and non-labor. Alright, let's just take whatever. What about Arrowhawk Roost? Ooh, it's actually defended. It's got a minor settlement. Interesting. We're actually going to have to fight this. Huh, go figure. I think perhaps we then attack with... Oh, right, you guys are supposed to switch positions, aren't you? Okay, I guess we could switch positions after this fight. Razor Standard for middle managers, Stormbreaker. Not for you. Oh, well, actually. Well, for this turn, you can both have it, but we'll swap it around after, like so. Good. And you, unfortunately, won't be able to join them. You're not supposed to, really, anyway, but just go here for now. Alright, we'll deal with them in a bit. 150 Conclave influence means we do have another tower seat available as soon as the hero stops moving. Construction time reduction for all buildings is gonna be nice. I'm inclined to finish up with the industry district and just go max out on industry as much as possible. Yes, I'm aware the Blood and Fireborn would be very, very, very useful, but nonetheless, I mean, we've been dealing without. We certainly have. It's a bad idea. I don't know. Generally speaking, I like to buff the entire faction, which this would, as opposed to buff individual armies, which would be nice as well because it buffs every single army. But Grand Architect. Flame seed. Lovely. Alright, and we need another 150, and we're getting 42 per turn now, which is pretty darn solid. Next up, we gotta go here, and we gotta do... we'll need to balance out control. And yeah, we still have that surplus. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Frankly, we'll need to transfer some to Nobler Hills anyway, so who has the biggest surplus right now? Probably you. Let's do this. Oh, Nobler Hills doesn't need... Okay, wait. Did I screw that? Okay, I'm gonna redo that. My bad, guys. 1, 2, accept. And do the control. Alright, now these two are all supposed to have their control thing, but they won't have it for a little bit. Yeah, what I wanted to do is this. We go to Rush Construction here. Gun turrets. 350. It's an expense, but one we're willing to pay. This will allow us to get the Grommerl to... Ooh, wait. Last time we did this, it gave us a mission. Well, I guess we could do it and not rush it, but I think the mission at Tier 4, if we do get another one, it might be a little bit iffy. In the sense that we need actual other units, and... Oh, hello. We do have that Tier 5 available. Should we want it. Which means access to all units, including Kadai destroyers. But for now, we gotta go into iron level. Gotta get those Infernal Ironsworn and Fire Glaives, though they're gonna be pretty costly. I guess there's no sense in rushing them at the current time. We're just gonna build the Demon Smithy here because of the Kadai stuff. And I'm 90% sure we're gonna delete the Mega Mortar here, but not right now, eventually. Anything else that would be critical to be built here? Probably one of these things. Patrol routes is good because of the adjacency bonus. Money's always nice. Raw material consumption is always nice as well, and reduces faction-wide their labor construction cost, eh? There is that to consider. For now, I think we'll do the patrol routes just for the adjacency. And we gotta save the rest of the cash because we only have limited time here at the Tower of Gorgoth, so we will upgrade the ramparts, we will upgrade the Bajorak mine to try to get the iron up and running, and in fact, I think we'll actually rush it and get the iron up and running pretty much immediately. It's a very efficient in terms of raw materials for armaments, so we'll build it up in a turn. Don't bother with the gold sluice right now. We actually are generating good raw materials, and I think we don't want to reduce that, but we can upgrade the next level of factory. Alright, and I guess we will also upgrade the mine shaft here, and frankly, we should upgrade the mines of Azgorh, because we want the marble. Almost everything, mind you. Yeah, oh right, we're holding on to that point, or that spot, because we need specific stuff to be built. Drazhoath, you're going to, I guess, move to Bloodytooth's Folly, I don't know which... Oh, it's about to rebel, eh? Possibly if we rebel... Ah, okay, good, the army was there. I mean, I suppose we wouldn't have been able to go to Grey Hag Retreat, and we'd go down here and then up here anyway. And yeah, my thinking is we try to fortify this particular territory and then just back off for a little bit. Go down the causeway and do something that doesn't take us even further afield, because it's starting to get a little bit dangerous. Not that I think that this army is going to get destroyed, just that I think that it's exposed. Yeah, gotta go to those alchemical remedies, really need that extra healing. Anyway, Kuntish, Grimson, alright, you two, you'll attack in a second. Oh, in fact, while we're at it, max out Harsh Master before you switch. Good. Vrongni the Grey, keep building Hobgob Archers. When you get attacked, inevitably, you'll need those. And hey, we got our first Infernal Guard available, should we desire to build them, though we're not building them for you, as yet. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing with this army as yet, but we're still trying to maximize what we can do with the building. Let's get some sneaky gets. They're very, very useful, and some more hobgobs. We do still have to have another full hobgob army, and what we also need to do is, considered. I wanted one of these guys. This is good. This is very good. And not perhaps as a commander, but definitely as a recruiter. So we're going to pay to get you on field. We'll use you to recruit out of the Black Fortress once we have stuff here, and we'll carry it over all the way. But yeah, we need to collect every considered guy we can because of the hero recruit rank +1 and the diplomatic relations with all factions. It'll all help out. So stay at the Great Butchery for now. Like so. And I guess you will get Route Marcher. Wait. A recruitment cost minus 15. Ah. And we could be our first recruiter lord. Yes, alright, adjutant. Upkeep and recruitment costs. This gives you movement range. Yeah, but we'll do that. And then a recruiter. A recruiter Grim. HR? Grim? I feel like I should keep their names, just so that I remember. Manager, somebody please come up with a better name for the recruiters. I probably will only name them one thing rather than a billion names, because I might get confused otherwise. Well, then again, depends on how many recruiters we get. Let's see what else we got. We got the armaments still, we got the money. Do we want to spend the money on anything? Wait, I want to see something here. Do you cost money? You do cost money, and a fair bit of it as well. Alright, you know what? Rush this. It's only one turn, and then get the next one up and running, because Drazhoath will leave this location next turn. Oh, well, I guess he's leaving next turn, so it'll make no difference, because we could rush it next turn. Honestly, I guess it depends on how many turns it takes. You know what? Just rush it. It's 70 labor. Who cares? I shouldn't have done that. I just realized that it only goes to tier 2, not 3, and we wouldn't be able to build this. Well, too late. Whatever. We still need more raw materials. And that's probably why I didn't rush it the first time, but I got excited. Anyway, we will still build the Demon Smithy here, and you know what? That still gets the reduction in terms of time for Draj. I'm going to just... I'll be happy with that. It's something. This might actually be a solid place to build the Mega Mortar, but I'm a little bit concerned of this place getting attacked from down the causeway while Draj is out here. Distinct possibility, and it's not like there's a lot of stuff in there. The other option would just to be building an ash level. What if we were to go all the way up to iron level here? Would we have the resources? Depends on if we rush stuff. Actually, speaking of rushing stuff, what do we have in terms of surplus now? Still a fair bit, eh? But rushing stuff wouldn't help in the sense that we don't have any more... Public order here is good. Alright, here's what we do. We take the surplus where the surplus is very high, in places where the public order is... Okay, let's do that. Yeah, that brings it down to 4, but the place is still good. This place is growing, but this place will be losing the least amount of labor despite the numbers, so we'll basically stack a bunch of stuff here for now in the lower river ruin, and that's the probably the place we're most likely to rush stuff anyway, so it works just fine. Certainly willing to give up a little bit of gold for it. Alright, and otherwise I'm happy. You already have these sacrifices to Jarnagrund and Noblar Hills. It's time to attack you, isn't it? Alright, let's level up and then let's go. You, sir. Alright. You have Bilious and Brutal Disciplinarian. Frankly, we'd probably want somebody with Needful in your Bellicose, but that's appropriate. Ah, maybe I should have gone Needful for the Gobos, because that'll be an extra 10 armor. Is 10 armor worth more than 4 attack and defense? I don't know. It doesn't matter now. Let us just attack with you, I guess. We can move next turn. And I gotta trade units anyway, it'll be a whole hassle. Let's pop you on you. A Razor Standard. Then let's pop you into Reinforce. And then we gotta book it back down to defend. You... I mean, I guess since we have Harsh Master, unless we switch to Armorer / Adjutant, we'd still be using the Hobgobs here. So let's go for Fervent Fodder twice, like so. You, sir. We could make you a little bit... Well, you know what, let's get They Need Stabbing. Yeah, I know we want all the buffs for all the other stuff, but you've been dueling lords a lot, and frankly, you might need a little bit of help. Cascading Fire Cloak and Kindle Flame for you. And I believe, other than a potential Demon Smith recruit, that's it. So let's take a quick look at Demon Smiths. No, not you. Vainglorious and Manipulative. Extravagant, Controlling, Extravagant. Maybe I shouldn't bother looking specifically for the compulsive trait. I suppose what we could do... Income from post-battle loot and labor gain post-battle. What we could do is get another Firesmith and just sort of have this one, Herok the Breaker, move towards Draj. The other option... Wait. I just had an idea. Can Draj in any way stack leadership reduction? I don't see anything. Doesn't look like it. Then if he doesn't have an ability... Oh, but the... The set effect does have an enemy leadership -5, so he could do a -15. But then again, he's going to be fighting and winning it. The leadership reduction probably doesn't matter nearly as much in his army as it would in others. Anyway, we can summon a Demon Smith here and then move him this way. Alright, son, let's do that. Let's take you, manipulative with that enemy leadership reduction. Just to get another one of these guys on the field. There we go, and I believe that's good, so we are not going to end the turn. We're going to fight the Imperials once again and try to take their settlement. Ooh, Knights and Mortars. Interesting. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Since we're testing out our Hobgob force, we might as well test them out in a minor settlement after a field battle. Should be pretty fun. It'll be a lot more difficult, I'm sure, as we'll have the choke points to deal with, but we'll hob and we'll gob and we'll blow their house down. Or, you know, set it on fire. That's more effective. Anyway, looks like a unit of swordsmen will be attempting to block us off. Gordas is charging forth, and not to actually kill off any of them, though this guy did lose his head, but rather to get close enough to summon the first of his summonable cutthroats. And he's going to summon them directly on top of this unit of handgunners, which was standing up on top of this platform. I'm sure the poor unit of cutthroats will get obliterated as the knights charge into them, but this is a unit of handgunners that won't be able to support while we take the positions that we have sought to take. Our first cutthroats have made it into the fray, the squealing swamplings leading the charge, and the enemy will attempt to block us off at this choke point. Our arrows will all target the enemy handguns, since we don't want the enemy getting any range support, and we continue to move forward. Now, we do have to wipe out that mortar as fast as we can, because even a single mortar will do massive damage to the fragile and bereft of armor, more or less, hobgobs. So we have Vanguard deployed all of our cav, or just deployed all of our cav in this forest, hidden them, and we'll be charging them through to destroy that enemy mortar and whatever other units they can catch. And the same thing goes for a couple of units of the Sneaky Gits, which are going to loop around as well and try to help out. We will be most likely stuck at this choke point for a fair bit, so we don't want the mortars or other range units to have free reign to help defend. Alright, and the Overseer probably going to be very helpful in this army, just to act as an anchoring point, especially in choke points, but in general for this particular army, since it won't have any other large units. There we go, very nice touchdown, just keep on working. And of course the Demon Smith is in here as well, gotta get him his mount eventually, and his, well, various casting abilities, but for now, we'll work with what we got. I do like the enemy's color scheme here. The green makes them nice and visible against our red shielded and clothed hobgoblins. And the arrows come down. Very, very nice choke point fight. Here come the enemy knights riding through their ranks, but this is actually probably a mistake on their part, because they're bigger targets and they'll be much easier to target with our archers. We did also keep 2 units of Sneaky Gits behind rather than looping them all around, and the reason for this is their precursor weapons. They will of course work against units like this, but as the knights have moved in, we will be able to chuck the daggers at the knights over the heads of our other units. And as we've seen, the dagger throwing of those precursor weapons is very dangerous, so we gotta be careful about obliterating our own ranks with it. And there we go, the daggers will join the arrows, and then of course once these guys run out of the precursor weapons at the knights, who I'm sure will drop in decent numbers, we will be able to join the fray and help the hobgob cutthroats out. And there we go. The Empire Knights are a very basic kind of lackluster unit. but they've got solid melee defense at 48 and plenty of armor, and they're shielded, so they're not going to take as much damage from the range fire as we'd like, but I'm sure the way to fire will tell eventually, especially as they are still stuck here. You may be wondering where the Overseer is. Well, the real Overseer here is Gordas in many ways, but the middle manager currently is breaking down this tower as it's been attacking us this entire time. The enemy mortar has been destroyed, and in fact our melee units of Hobgob Wolf Raiders led by Oglacon's Wolf Boys have joined the fray and are now obliterating a unit of Halberdiers. But they'll probably back off from attacking the other unit, because they all did suffer damage fighting Halberdiers directly. Not the best matchup for them, after all. And the unit of Pistoliers was trying to annoy us in the same way that we annoyed them, but not to worry, we'll chase them down. Oh, the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders are so tiny, but they're so darn quick. Alright, come on, somebody bring him down. Come on, anybody? Those guys right there. I guess they're trying to chase the main blob of the unit down. Looks like they're mostly trying to, there we go, use ranged attacks rather than bothering to dagger him in the side. But, well, if it works, it works, and it eventually did. Anyway, we're nearly through the choke point. Just the one unit remains. All the others have routed. The knights are gone and probably used their mass to break back through the enemy lines. And while we did have to hit the settlement from many sides, we got to play it a little bit more sneaky with the Hobgob army than we might with the Chaos Dwarf force, especially once we have the more elite unit. This army will always have to work a little harder, but that means it'll be giving us lots of fun battles throughout the campaign. Sneaky Gits and Hobgob Cutthroats continue to move forward, tying up whatever other crossbows and handguns they can find. Can't be having those guys fire on us while we make our way and deeper into the enemy settlement. I'm still on the fence. What do you guys think of Needful versus Bellicose in terms of traits for the Hobgob army? So Needful will give them 10 armor, and they are very lightly armored, so every little bit of armor will be quite useful. And then Bellicose gives them +4/+4 melee attack and defense, which is also quite nice. It's not like they have high melee defense as well, so there is that to consider. Okay, they do when we have Armor of Contempt up on them, but that's just, well, yeah, that's definitely something we'll need to keep using in this army. Alright, and it looks like that platform went down rather quick, and these poor crossbows will get overrun rather quickly. And it looks like they will break. In fact, the enemy army is very close to being done. The balance of power has shifted to about 85% in our favor. Another unit of Halberdiers destroyed at range, and then as soon as they were ready to shatter, we charged through with our Wolf Raiders, the Dire Gobs in particular. And we are nearly there. Ah, it looks like one of the Empire Knights units is coming back, but, well, they'll arrive to see most of their comrades having already been obliterated. Very nice little minor settlement fight. I'm really enjoying this one. Definitely getting some great fights in this campaign. That quest battle, I'm still riding that high, admittedly. And now the Hobgobs will always be here to provide. Anyway, it looks like the bounce power's at about 90% in our favor, and by the looks of it, the entire enemy army is in fact shattered. Just gotta get proximity to this guy, and then he'll break, and down he goes. With that, the battle is ours once again. Alright, there we go. Very, very nice. Today is a Hobgob day, I guess, and damn well are the Hobgobs proving their worth. In particular, the Dire Gobs are doing fairly well. 115 kills and nearly 10k damage, and 14k damage on, once again, an unnamed unit of Wolf Raiders, and the Squealing Swamplings with 15k, though they do have the advantage of that Razor Standard bumping up the damage. Plus, Trustworthy Gits, once again, doing good work. Closely followed by the Shin Takers. A lovely little bit of labor and treasury for our trouble. And we will occupy the place as I'm going to say a factory. For two reasons. One, because I want to fortify this place, although I suppose we could have gone for... Hey, we got to keep the wolf taming pens. Swell. Yeah, I figure we want to fortify this place just in case, rather than getting into an immediate war with the greenskins here. Malice might not be happy if we deal with them, but whatever. Hopefully he won't get too angry at us. I don't want to deal with him at the same time. What we'll do is that Arrowhawk Roosters will actually build a defensive structure just... Yeah, it's gonna... Oh, wait, we'll build it next turn once we have the Masterful Architects. Anyway, hey, you guys, you're level 5 now, and though you don't have near the level of buffs, you probably should switch. On the other hand, we could wait until he at least reaches Fervent Fodder. I mean, it's not like he's not going to be continuing to sort of follow around with the goblins and stuff. In fact, let's get a few more laborers in this army for when we're ready to swap out. Alright, that looks good. I don't believe we have any Toruks. I don't believe we have any... Oh, we have Infernal Castellan capacity. But neither of the kind that we like. Alright, and you know what? I think I've decided. Let's actually build the Infernal Castellan building here. And even if we do end up ferrying the Infernal Guard and Ironsworn, the way I figure it, this army is going to split into two, the Chaos Dwarf Warriors and the Blunderbusses and the Granite Guard, and they're going to be in their own army of Chaos Dwarf Warrior stuff. Whereas, it's better to have an army leader right here with them to immediately be able to split them off to. Yes? Yes. Alright. Otherwise, we do have a decent chunk of change, money-wise, I mean. I'm a little bit wary of investing in this particular location, but let's at least build the goat herd simply because it's bonus control. Well, you know what? We could do the spice market as well. There we go. 5k. And let's just hope they don't immediately get attacked, as it would be a shame. We also do need more raw materials, but I think relatively okay for now. Still 2k for these things, but it is an extra. It's only an extra 50 money. Oh, that's why we're making so much more. Wait, no, that's only gold, isn't it? Well, never mind, I'm not sure. Anyway, we will probably fortify this place as well. Let's go for the Fane Guard again next turn. Darn, okay, you know what? Clearly I keep forgetting, so I'm just going to go to next turn as soon as we convoy dispatch. Military convoys. What do we have army-wise? You are badly damaged. You are nearly full HP. Oh, I forgot you got Rat Ogres. Cute. And you have the Destroyer, and you're now full HP. You have the highest level and the highest number of units, so I guess you were the one to pick. Now, let me just compare here. You have two Blunderbusses. You have two Blunderbusses. They're basically the same army, except this one has slightly more stuff. So, we'll do you. Add Master. And we need to send you somewhere where we have not been before. Pretty sure we visited Drakenhof. I don't remember if we visited Black Crag. We definitely haven't been to Vaults of Plenty, but I guess we could send you there. Have we been to Haunted Grove? Alright, let's do Vaults of Plenty now and then Haunted Grove after. We've definitely not been to several of these things, like, ooh, wow, 4.3k for 400 armaments. Can you travel that far without dying, though? Yeah, and then we haven't been to several things up here either. But right now, we're just trying to visit every single one. This isn't really about resources, so yeah, let's just try Vaults of Plenty. Dispatch. And soon, hopefully, we'll have a second convoy. Also, you did level up again, so let's go to skills and let's get your wayfinders. Although the single point at 50%, the second point isn't actually as useful, is it? Sale value of cargo, max convoy cargo capacity. I'm gonna say, I don't know, sale value. Let's do that, and then we'll do local guides. Alright, that's the convoy. Let's check the Diplo, and then let's go next turn. What do we have here? Clan Gouger wants an on-aggression pact. We'll actually probably be fighting them. There's a decent likelihood that they'll attack us. Chattel of Jar are... Oh! You're a Kislevite faction within Jarnagrund. Kislevites have no aversion to Chaos Dwarfs. Fascinating. We might actually want to keep these guys alive, just to have a Kislevite ally. Ooh, we could get bears, we could get little Groms. There's a lot of fun stuff in the Kislev roster that would actually work with ours. A little bit of ice and fire for you. I hadn't considered this. How do they feel about the Dark Elves? Okay, they do have aversion to the Dark Elves, but I think it might still be worth it. Hopefully they don't hate each other too much. If we can get alliances with both, I'd be happy. Oh, also, let's check peace. Okay, yeah, nobody wants to peace out. That's fine. That's fine. Otherwise, I believe we're good, unless there's other heroes. Alright, I checked the Infernal Castellan. We have no additional Demonsmith Sorcerer capacity. And what about Taurox? Is it just the one? Nah, there's no new bully anyway. Oh, we have Violent, with enables Sundering attacks. I wonder if that's better than Bully. Sundering attacks are really quite useful, but we can get Sundering attacks on our infantry relatively easily. Anyway.
Osmos Bagorndok, Faus Izrak, Denwan.
Alright, what do we have here? Battle with the Cath- Oh, and we just set this convoy out. The issue there is, yes, we could fight this, but since they still have 6 more turns to move, I fear that there's a decent likelihood that they'll encounter enemies again, meaning I think we don't need the hassle right now. Upkeep reduction minus 5%, beautiful. Treasury and War Banner from growing our forces, also beautiful. And Kana Trider immune to desert attrition, not useful. Tower of Jar reward. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Speaking of Tower Jar, okay, that's gonna be a while. Alright, next tech, alchemical remedies. That's what we were going towards, and we will continue. May even want to get ammunition caches for the additional Castellan. Speaking of, unethical upkeep reduction for Infernal Guard. Hello. That's what we want. That is absolutely what we want. That is 100% what we want. I didn't even know that was an option. And leadership reduction for laborers and hobgobs, which we wouldn't have in that army anyway. Beautiful. You join H.R. Grimm's army and we'll be able to recruit them cheaper as well. That's fantastic. Now I want another Castellan of that variety. Now. Alright, I don't see these guys yet. Are they still at war with... Yeah, okay, so those lizards are really keeping them busy. Frankly, if the Dark Elves and lizards don't end up hating each other, maybe we'll try to ally with those lizards. Just because they've been keeping these guys busy for the entirety of the campaign so far, and it's really helping us out. Anyway, you guys... be faster to... No, can't jump over. Alright, so you're just going to march stance... Huh. Go down this way and then try to jump this way. I don't know if it will be faster or not. No, let's not risk it. Go this way. And then you, sir, will follow. In regular stand down, march stance. We'll do this, march stance, and then we'll have you join this army. It'll probably not be in the follower army, but we'll send them to another one shortly. Like so, lovely. Gotta get down here quick, or as quick as we can make it. Now, while we're here, I did say I wanted to go for the defenses, so Fane Guard and whatever the Factory Guard has, and just in case the Greenskins attack the place while we're gone. Fortify this, and hopefully we don't have to deal with it. Looks like these guys have defenders, more gobos, and... oh, wow. Lots in Grey Hag's Retreat. Lots of solid garrison, Black Orcs, Biggins, etc. Bloodytooth's Folly is unfortunately not as good, but we'll still most likely fight it as we can't afford the casualties right now, unfortunately. Before we leave the territory, though, we do want to upgrade stuff. So, battlements, and I wanted to upgrade the factory, but whatever. Let's do the marble quarry, has to be prioritized. I'd love to upgrade the gold further as well, and I guess we'll start with the miner's workshop here, mostly because we don't want to lose raw materials right now. Later on, the raw materials won't matter nearly as much, but right now they're critical to upgrading our infrastructure, essentially. Altar of Fire for the Kadai? Well, technically, yes. I guess we'll do that as well. Oh, also, what's our labor's still more or less good, especially in this location. You know what? That means we can build a few more outposts and upgrade the outpost locations and probably get more flow. And let's not use all of our money, though, because we will need to acquire more units, as in recruit more units. Anyway, so let's move into Bloodytooth's Folly, as there's nothing else to upgrade there. Or there at least not anything that we want to spend money on. Close victory and medium casualties, we'll see about that. I certainly don't think so, but, well, we did lose our Kadai and one of our Hobgob units, so we're a little bit weaker than we were. Go. Alrighty, Trash and Cinder flying overhead, getting ready to engage with the enemy. I guess a more or less gobbo army here. I mean, we've had plenty of time playing around with our own hobgobs this episode, and doubling up on those magic missiles. Trash tries to dodge them, but does take a little bit of damage. But anyway, hobgobs versus Night Goblins, which is actually a fairly interesting comparison. I'd say that the Night Goblin archers, especially the Night Goblin fanatic archers, are going to be the better unit as compared to the Hobgob unit, simply because they have stalk and poison on their attacks, which is going to be better than the fire damage that the Hobgobs have, just generally speaking. But I'm sure we'll be fine. And besides, we have very few regular hobgobs in this army at this point. Anyway, speaking of this army, trying to annoy them a little bit, which I suppose we could do so, or in the their magic missiles failed. Or in the alternative, we could just move up and make this battle a little bit harder for ourselves, a little bit easier for our foes, but probably a little bit more fun as well. So I think that's what we'll do. I'm going to continue hovering overhead, of course, and dropping those burning rats wherever they can. Gotta love those spammable spells. And then drop a slightly bigger spell with those Flames of Azgorh. It's such a lovely looking spell, and a decently damaging one as well. Anyway, Cinder Breath and Drazhoath will land in the enemy line just to try to block off the charge of the enemy boar boys, but, well, we put our goblin laborers out in front of the rest of our army, and that's why they charged into them instead. Enemies are moving in, and the blunderbusses are firing. Gonna clip our own units a little bit, but that's just the sort of the nature of playing with blunderbusses. Don't play with blunderbusses, kids. Or do, whatever. Anyway, anyway, looks like the enemy is now engaged with our units of melee, but our blunderbusses are relatively free to continue firing. And the Blazing Beards of Bergerac were set up a little bit further away in the hopes of being able to fire off their blasting charges, and it looks like they do still have a few of them left, so I'm going to try to clear the way of the enemy orc boys and the gobos and continue blasting the enemy away. Trolls attempt to charge, but they're a little bit too tall, and the blunderbusses see them off relatively quickly. Not destroyed perhaps, but at the very least heavily damaged. And it does look like our goblin laborers have routed. Of course, our dwarf warrior line behind them will not rout anywhere nearly as quickly, and we'll continue holding back the tide of enemies. And you may have noticed that we've done effectively no damage with the magma cannon so far. Just for fun. We will have them fire here, but we did move up to the enemy so that we didn't destroy their army from a distance this time around. Ash Storm comes down and continues to look just fantastic. You gotta love the flashy sort of armies that the Chaos Dwarfs have just in general. Lots of effects, and they are flashy, but the effects aren't sort of the annoying variety that is, well, uglier. I'm still thinking about that darn net that the Skaven have. And I love Skaven armies, I absolutely do, with all their weapons teams, and we will try to get some weapons teams in a few of our armies as well from the Skaven, because there's a very nice synergy there. And plus we want those flamethrowers of theirs, or somebody's flamethrowers, flamers of Tzeentch, flamers of Skaven, some kind of flamers. Ooh, and that Black Orc Big Boss now surrounded by the Blazing Beards of Bajorak, but is going to take a while to defeat him because we've little enough armor piercing on regular Chaos Dwarf Warriors. Not to worry though, Drazhoath will move in and help out with this and with the trolls that were here as well. And by the looks of it, the battle is closing in on being ours. Of course, a bunch of the enemy gobos will rally, and we don't know exactly where they are because they all have stock. So they'll return to the fray, but we are relatively still in formation as we were, and if their first assault failed, I don't imagine their second assault will succeed. Oh, it does look like some of those squig hoppers did manage to nearly close the distance with a few of the blunderbusses, just a few seconds too late. Gotta love their stopping power, the blunderbusses. I mean, I'm gonna be very interested to see how the blunderbusses, how well they work against things like ogres and stuff, because I'm sure we'll be seeing them in a decent time. The Black Orc Big Boss will route the bounce power shifts to about 90% in our favor, and just a few more enemy units to clear out. And Drash continues to move forward, gonna have him hovering overhead once again just to try to spot whatever enemy units are hidden, and as soon as he hits the enemy lord and sends him flying into this forest, the enemy decides, you know what, no, this is not gonna happen, and they're gonna back off and run. Not really capable of chasing the enemy armies. I mean, our armies. Ooh, you gotta love those shots from the magma cannon, sort of coming over the hills with all of the industry in the background from the Chaos Dwarfs. Very fun armies to watch, aren't they? All right, all right. Alright, there we go, solid work and a really fun fight. We could have sat back and made it easy on ourselves, but it was certainly more fun to fight it that way. Not to get too cocky and encounter that difficult quest battle type of casualties again, and lose some of our units. But anyway, and Draj did fantastic, 566 kills and nearly 60,000 damage. Blunderbusses, the Fire Guard, carried the day. Hell's Bell, no, one of the unnamed magma cannons did better. And out of the melee troops, with 120 kills but less damage, so I guess, well, less damage but more, no, less gold is value, but more kills. Actually, the same amount of kills. I lied. Actually, you guys did really close to each other. Anyway, I forget, I was gonna say we do these as factories, right? Because of fortification. Though I suppose what we could also do is fortify them as outposts that generate money without putting any labor into them and just build defensive structures. There is that option as well. Oh, but the outposts can't build ash levels, can they? No, you know what? We're still going to do outposts, though, even though the ash levels would be nice. The thing is, they generate 300 income like this, and then we generate more income via the treasure trove, and that's still good, without spending any labor there at all. And we can get some hobgoblin bivouacs there as well, as part of the fortification. It won't be as strong as a fortified place with a outpost, because that'll generate a minor settlement battle, and this will generate a field battle, but this way at least they're making money and paying us back to some degree. Besides, Mount Greyhag sort of commands the pass, and hopefully if an enemy attacks it, they attack Greyhag, wherein we'll be a little bit more fortified. Anyway, Vrongni the Grey, you gotta keep recruiting, buddy. Ever more hobgoblins. Let's get some wolf raiders in here, and then another sneaky git. Yeah. Alright, HR Grim, you are not recruiting as yet, but we will keep an eye on you. We also want to keep an eye on the Demonsmith Sorcerers, specifically to get the ones that we want, of the type that we want. And ooh, we got a compulsive one. Maybe we do you. I did want to get 2 Demonsmith Sorcerers in the main stack. We just need more capacity. Alright, which means we just need to build more of the more of those buildings. Also, should we upgrade this right now? Yeah, let's just get the Altar of Fire here. Otherwise, I'm going to see it every single turn and it's going to bother me. Next, I think what we'll do is we'll go into the Hellforge. We'll go to the manufactory and we'll bump up our range units with that reload time reduction right now. Like so. We don't need capacities yet, but we will soon, which does mean what we need to do is this. At Drazhoath, we need to start getting We Are Legion. For armament cost for increasing capacity of Infernal Guard and Infernal Ironsworn, because we're about to need a heck of a lot of them to replace those missing in your army. We do want that other point in Tyrant, but we want to be recruiting within the next few turns, so we're going to get this right now. Your mana is good, your Infernal Castellan is... Missile resistance, spell resistance... nah, we are the elite. Let's get that range damage. We are still going to have a fair bit of range in this army after all. Alright, the rest of that looks good. We could, in theory, rush this, which would allow us to upgrade the... Yeah, you know what? Let's rush this. Rush this so that we can upgrade the Kadai building immediately. And we don't have the money for the ore level, unfortunately, but it's all good. And we will be able to build the volcanic deposits in 1 turn. Alright, so we'll do that once we actually have the cash to be able to construct it. Also, this will increase the workload here by quite a bit. But the rest of this is fine for now. Minus you, you're a little bit over. That's fine. If we build a bunch more outposts and send labor there. I mean, I suppose even with these outposts, even if we make them defended, then we can get a little bit in the way of money flowing there. Anyway, Garrison Lord on assigned skill points, you are not moved. I don't believe there's anything else to do, so we're going to end the turn. Hopefully these guys don't arrive before we're ready. End turn. Alright, there we are. Fallen to Seduction. Cult of... Oh, that's interesting. Cult of more Fallen to Seduction with Slaanesh. Tower of Jar, a seat controlled by you, has been usurped by Astragoth. Who else? Which seat is the question? This one. Armor of Contempt. Oh! That's a good one to steal. We've been really enjoying that on our Gabo army. Well, how dare you, Astragoth. You just bought yourself being Force Confederated first, and somebody did suggest that we do that, so makes sense. You can increase mobility and join H.R. Grimm's army. Then... Oh, we do have another Callous one. I did want to get that, but I don't think we need more than 2 Castellans in the army, and frankly... There are others to put them in, and we don't have capacity, so, yeah. And no capacity for Torx, I imagine, either? No. Alright, just had to check, guys, just had to check. Anyway, Drazh, you're headed up to the Grey Hag Retreat, which I imagine will have to be yet another battle. No choice in the matter, simply because it's fairly fortified. Yeah, close victory, medium casualties, and they do have walls, including actual orcs and not just mostly gobos. Though the goblins are pretty fun to fight. Mission issued, Razorsack Haunted Grove. Working on it, game, working on it. Alright, you guys. I'm a little bit concerned about moving in march stance, but let's risky to get the bisky. What's the likelihood that you'll get attacked by something? I'm gonna hope that it's low, because they're now a little bit too far from each other. I say we occupy Skull Harvest, unless it's full of Skaven, which is a distinct possibility. These guys only have 2 territories, and they're still in the fight with Tepog Spawn, so there is that to consider. Coveted Passion, Slaanesh wants to trade. They do seem to be friendly with the other chaotic forces nearby, so I think this is fine. And we want various types of war shrines from various factions. Oh, would you look at that? Grey Hag wants peace. That's not going to happen. Though I'm just curious. 5.7k? Yeah, no. We make more than that per turn. If they were offering like, I don't know, like 20k, then I would at least consider it. Probably not a lot, but I would consider it. Yeah, you're waiting for this, for the iron level, which we could rush. It's just that I don't think we can afford the recruitment right now anyway. And who are you? Oh, right, the other Demon Smith Sorcerer of Fire. Alright, you're gonna move this way. And we're gonna need you, sir. Although, perhaps a Demon Smith Sorcerer of Metal might actually be the better pick in the Gobbo army, now that I think about it, because Glittering Robe would at least make them a little bit tankier, and Searing Doom would help in the line holding. The main issue would be, of course, that we wouldn't be able to get the bonus fire damage and Kindle Flame, and we do a fairly decent amount of fire damage. So in short, I don't know, we'll think about it. Frankly, all of them except Death would probably work well in that army. And even Death offers Soul Blight. Well, let's see what else we got. We could upgrade the Blackwater Sluice gates. We could... Oh, right, we need to build this thing. Volcanic deposits, more workload. Alright, so... Oh, wait, we have this back up and running. Oh, wait, I mean, set an example. Or... we take the opportunity to sell off a little bit of... Well, actually, no, we can't sell it off. We do have some surplus. In fact, I'd say decent amounts of surplus. But it's only 10 influence. Although if we sell 20 influence off, we'd be upping this. Oh, I forgot that sell labor also... Well, it's only for 1 turn. I think it's not worth it. I think we'll need lots of labor soon, so I think we'll just continue the set an example. Like so. And then we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4. You're actually in pretty good place now, so the labor's dropping again. Let's put it all here in Mount Azgorh. It's gonna need it as well. And speaking of Mount Azgorh, let's upgrade the... Oh, wow, that's way too expensive. Let's not upgrade that, never mind. You're good. Could upgrade the tribute collectors. Oh, wait, what do we have that would warrant... Okay, Pigbarter is upgradable with ramparts. I'm just checking all the towers. We could do you as well. Oh, did I not build the mine here? Oh, there's a factory. That's why I didn't build the mine, because we would be building a gunsmith. Yeah, it's not possible. I guess we'll do this. We'll do the strip mine here. We clearly need to accept new labor, and we clearly are going to need more raw materials. Ever more raw materials. I understand what the Chaos Dwarfs are going through. I guess Pigbarter is the way to go. We are trying to fortify it, and thus we need more upgrades there. And we'll hold off on the rest of the raw materials just so we can upgrade another tower. Get those towers up and running, more various important buildings. And, oh, you know what? Let's actually upgrade the tower roads here, because it is an adjacency bonus thing. We should upgrade these. Pretty critical. Alright, now I believe we're good to end the turn, minus the armaments thing, but I think we're waiting specifically on you to level up, so it's time for you to fight again. Draj, go. Alrighty, here we go again. This faction is most definitely on the back foot now, and they will be probably properly destroyed relatively soon. And then whatever units we can find turned into more laborers, as we, will ever need. More workers and more cannon fodder. Now, looks like we will be setting up and firing upon the enemy with our magma cannons this time, just to keep the battles a little bit different from each other. And we'll want to at least soften up the enemy biggins and the black orcs before they get to us. The biggins, of course, in SFO have a lot more armor piercing and are a pretty darn solid units, 65 armor and 52 armor piercing for 120 unit. And weapon strength fairly high at 52 as well for a tier 2 unit, very, very solid. I would expect the... lots of effects. That distracted me completely. I would expect the biggins to tear through a unit of regular Chaos Dwarf Warriors fairly well. So we do have to be wary of them. And that was a nice combination of Magma Cannons, Flames of Azgorh, and Cinder Breath's Bale Taurus Breath. And it looks like the enemy army has certainly suffered some damage. We're up to 101 kills and nearly 19k damage on Drazhoath. And the enemy army is now milling around. Looks like it's reforming in order to begin to charge forward. We continue firing on those black orcs from a distance. Of course, they are heavily armored enough that the magma cannons won't be quite as effective against them as they would be against other units, especially as their armor-piercing damage is only half of their half compared to the regular type of damage, but not to worry. They do have a fairly long distance to cover as they move towards us. And of course, Drazhoath will keep supporting from up above. And this is the thing that we avoided with last battle, as we went right up to the enemy. And just to show off the damage that we can do with only 2 magma cannons. It's not like we have dreadquakes or anything like that. Anyway, looks like the enemy has drawn close enough for our first unit of fire glaives to fire upon at least the first few of the enemy units. And we'll have plenty of those fire glaives as we move on. Get those as quickly as possible. Nice shots from the magma cannons right into the screen, but the squig hoppers, or squig herd rather, is closing the distance. Gonna eat a few blasting charges from the blazing beards of Bajarak and then blunderbuss shots as well. And the squig herd has been obliterated. More units are moving forward. We're going to stop them or slow them rather with a volley of a burning wrath, and then of course the stopping power from the blunderbusses, which obliterates these units without the need to drop an ash storm upon them. Out here, the black orcs are attempting to close the distance. They do have those great axes, so they would obliterate a unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but by the time they've closed, they've eaten so many shots from the magma cannons and blunderbusses that they rout pretty much immediately. Besides, it was only the one unit. Out here, I couldn't even tell what unit this was because there were so many blunderbuss shots. Either way, that unit got obliterated. Ash Storm coming down on the right flank. I think one nice thing about the fact that we will be switching the army style of this particular army is that we get to experience Drazhoath fighting with the sort of standard Chaos Dwarf Warrior ranks with blunderbusses at first, and then they'll switch to another army, and then Drazhoath's army will function very differently afterwards. And ooh, it does look like an enemy unit of Boar Boys did manage to loop around us and hit our right flank. We're going to have to turn the blunderbusses and fire right back. Fortunately, Drazh is here, and we can send one of the units of Chaos Dwarf Warriors in as reserves and protect those magma cannons, who will move a little bit further just so that if the enemy charges, they'll hit the hobgobs instead. How many hobgob lives are we willing to sacrifice for a piece of machinery? Probably a fair amount. Alright, enemy range units are still firing away at us, but the enemy melee is by and large destroyed. We are still going to have to go after the enemy Black Orc Big Boss and the Goblin Great Shaman. Although I would wager that the Great Shaman will probably rout and or shatter, as his army is pretty much destroyed. I've seen those Night Gobos work together with the Squigs as well. When we get around to playing the Greenskins next time, I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun as well. And get a little bit of revenge for all this, for all of this. gestures to all of this. Anyway, 5, oh, I don't know, I'm reading the time. Decently long battle, and the battle's ours. There we go, that's what I was getting at. Amounts of power shifts, and this army destroyed once again. Apparently a close victory, probably due to ammunition expenditure. One of our units of hobgobs that was guarding the flanks was damaged, but Drazhoath no longer really needs the hobgobs, so I'm thinking we're okay. Alrighty, there we are, another really fun fight. Damn, this one unit of Orc Biggins did pretty well. I guess they hacked their way through some of the Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits and Goblin Laborers, but the Gobs did their jobs, and we did indeed prevent casualties from the Chaos Dwarf Warrior Regulars, and good job to them. Otherwise, damage-wise, we've got 18k on this unit of Chaos Dwarf Blunderbuss. Okay, you guys get a name now. It's twice in a row they did better than and then the others, and they've earned one. I'll let us occupy the place as well as an outpost. Like so, and we didn't get to keep the salt, unfortunately. Recruitment cost for Death Shriekers. We're not really using them, but, well, why not? Let's do this, and then we'll go immediately for the... I'm just wondering whether we should go for the money pit first, because we'll be fighting at Mount Greyhag and could increase the money. Although, by the looks of it, it actually didn't give us all that much money extra, so screw it. Screw it. It's fine. Enemy killed in battle, and Drazh leveled up again. No, he did not. He came very close to leveling up, but the game lied. Not very nice. Otherwise, I believe we're good. We have access to Fireborn next turn, and oh. Do we have a reduction in... Or is it a faction-wide reduction? Ah, yes. Armament cost for increasing capacity of Kadai minus 20%. Good. How much do we have? I'd like to get 4 Kadai Fireborn in our army. ASAP. We might go all the way up to 6 at some point, and ow! Our caravan is moving through these guys' territories. At least it's a scouting for us, and now I see Goldtooth is nearby, though he doesn't seem to like us all that much for some bizarre reason. I wonder why. It's not like ogres care about chaos, and we'd be making pretty good trading partners, I'm willing to bet. Well, whatever. You still need to recruit, though it looks like we don't have a lot of space. Let's go for some more sneaky gets, and that's all we can do. I guess we could build a couple of regular laborers, since it's all the money we have. And pop a few more laborers into this army. And if you're wondering why I'm doing the goblin laborers as opposed to the orc laborers, it's a simple matter of these guys have high melee defense, and we don't really expect the laborers to do damage. So, yeah. And as for laborers, you guys can name them. I will, however, not bring them back if they die. So, yeah, like other names I don't expect to lose generally, and if I do lose them, I'll bring them back. But, let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. Alright, the volunteers. Alright, anyway, yeah, well, you can name the laborers. I will not bring them back if they die, and they will die. I guarantee it. The bobs for you guys. And I was gonna say, or I was starting to name you, so... Yes, for blunderbusses, I think it was the 3rd unit, right? I think so. Karen's Bane. There we go. Alright. HR Grim. Wait, you've got a couple more turns. I think we're actually good this turn-wise, other than the armaments, which we're saving for a reason. Nobody to move, nobody to... Where are you? You have a point available, eh? Alright, fine, just get Fireball. That's the only real option. And we really need more capacity for these guys, because we need to get Tech Thieves up and running. Building upgrade available, and look at that. Alchemical Remedies is nearly up. Thank you, game, finally. Oh, and our convoy gets attacked, and they're not surviving this. They're just plain not surviving this. I was close to defeat, but I really don't see that happening. They wandered close to a settlement of the enemy, which will sally out. We could watch them fight to the death, but it won't be much of a battle because we just get so overwhelmed that with sheer numbers of units. I think it's not a big enough deal. Sorry, convoy, you did well, and this is why we don't keep items on you, because you're gonna die. So it'll be a shame to lose some of these units. You got 2 ogre units, huh? But what happens if we escape off field? Does that mean a loss and a retreat? You know what? I want to find out. We're not gonna fight. Because once again, the garrison is just too much. I just want to see what happens if the convoy retreats from this battle. Retreat from the battle, and it doesn't, like, retreat on field. It might just be destroyed, but I'm curious. I've never tried. We do have some good units here, don't get me wrong, but they just have so many range units, and we don't have enough melee to deal with them. Alright, that was a bit back and forth, upside down, topsy-turvy, up and down, topsy-turvy, roller coaster. What I'm getting at is we are going to do this battle cinematically. I tried to get these guys to withdraw, but the withdraw icon doesn't even exist, so we cannot withdraw. And as I said, the enemy has way too many range units for us to do anything about, at least without more fast movers. And normally, if they didn't have as many range, we could probably just go into this little valley and then block them off and probably do decent damage, but that obviously is not going to work here, so we'll just get obliterated at range. So, last stand it is. Last stands are always fun, and we could do a little, we could see the Kadai Destroyer fighting a little bit. It'll be a shame to lose the thing, but we are approaching the ability to build them ourselves relatively quickly now. And should probably have our first couple within the next few episodes for Drazhoath, because it gets them cheaper. Alright, excuse me. We have got the enemy leading with a few why did those 2 drop out of the sky? I didn't see any bullets hit them. The heck? I saw some bullets moving in afterwards, but I don't know, we'll drop them. Well, what we do know is that the blunderbusses will drop these guys as soon as they get just a teensy bit closer. And there we go. This way we can guarantee a unit gets destroyed for our trouble with this convoy. Crowman attempting to close the distance, getting continuously stopped by the blunderbuss fire and the ogre man pistols. Man-eaters with ogre pistols. And we'll drop from the sky before being able to close the distance. Alright, well, that's 1 unit destroyed, and hopefully not the only one, as the giant pile of enemy units closes in with our poor little outnumbered convoy. We're going to charge them directly. Looks like the Darklands bandits have ogre mercenaries with them, or maybe they're not even mercenaries, maybe they just build ogres, because I didn't see an allied symbol or anything like that on them. Wait, actually, do you get the allied symbol when you recruit ogre mercenaries from an ogre camp? Maybe you don't. Ogre camps used to be so lackluster that I never bothered doing that, so I don't know. Well, either way, big old pile of melee units. Of course, our poor destroyer will be focused down. Later on, the destroyers will be significantly less liable to be damaged or heavily damaged by range fire. But for now, it's just the basic unit. And the manufactory will give them that 360 missile block. And unbreakable as well. Or is that just the Kadai? Well, no, it's both of them. So by the time we get them on field, we'll probably upgrade them a little bit as well, and any of our convoys that get more will have a little bit of an easier time. Chaos Dwarf Warriors completely surrounded by Jade Warriors, outnumbering them like 5 to 1, and will slowly be going down, especially with no laborers to take the hits from them, as we just don't have the numbers. Our blunderbuss is still getting a couple volleys in, our destroyer down to half HP, though it's done fairly decent damage, and has brought the enemy lord down to 20%. Who knows, maybe it'll be able to destroy destroy it. And it's done 10,000 damage, which isn't too bad, even if the numbers are inflated because of the higher HP values in SFO. Now, it looks like the Lord has called a bunch of Jade Lancers, rather, to try to block the Destroyer off. Smart move. Destroyer still chasing him down, and one more hit, 225 HP. Come on. Oh, those peasants got in the way, and it looks like that last hit hit the peasants instead, and now that the Lord is free, the Destroyer is too slow to catch up. Too bad it doesn't have a fire breath or some kind of ability similar to Golgi. That Deadeye shot from the Man-Eater. Oh well, what can you do? Destroyer's gonna move on and get those last few hits in, but it is now disintegrating as it has taken sufficient damage. Our ogres are fighting to the death, and our blunderbusses have, I believe, been overrun now as well. Just gonna watch the last few animations of this thing before it goes down. We probably won't be seeing too many destroyers, well, and destroyed throughout the course of the campaign, so we'll watch one now. I do think they have a pretty cool death animation, the way that the fire leaves the armor and it's just an empty shell that collapses. Pretty neat. Oh, it looks like one of the blunderbusses managed to free themselves, get a nice volley into those Jade Warrior crossbows with shields. Unfortunately, they are heavily armored and shielded enough that they probably won't take nearly as much damage as we'd like, even with our firing parallel to their deployment. Alright, down to, still only lost 10 units, though they've only got 30% HP. Come on, a couple more volleys, we might be able to destroy the unit if they stay there. And then one free unit of blunderbusses. We're of course shielded as well, but we're taking tons of fire from all the enemy range units, crane gunners, jade crossbows, etc, etc. Alright, the unit is routing and still has 70 now of its units, despite only 20% HP. Come on, keep firing, destroy one more unit before you all melt away. It looks like our ogres are done for, and 54 units with 10% HP. Yeah, that unit's just going to be fine, and it will recover to half. But hey, that's a little bit of a taste of our own medicine, because, well, we've been having that work in our advantage many, many times with Drazhoath's army as well, as he continues to win battles where he takes heavy damage to his Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but they don't lose enough models to not recover, so we're still relatively okay. Speaking of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, they continue their fight as best they can. But not for much longer as the balance of power shifts to only about 10% in our favor, and it looks like the last standing unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors is beginning to rout. Oh, they still had the Overseer in there. Well, they all know that they are fighting to the last. But it looks like they are done. Oh, actually. Okay, there we go. Now you're broken, and with the Chaos Dwarf Warriors broken, the last of our units will break, though. The Overseer had like 95% of its HP. Frankly, if he was unbreakable, he probably could have killed off a few more units over time, simply because the Jade Warriors don't have a lot of armor piercing. Although I do see halberds and ogres there, which probably could have helped out. Anyway, a nice little last stand. Bid farewell to this convoy. There will be plenty more to come. Alrighty, sad to see our little convoy get wiped out, but at least they did some damage, wiping out a unit. Well, the Jade Lancers don't matter because they're part of the garrison, but taking out the crossbows, ogre bulls, man-eaters, and Jade Warriors, and so close to knocking out that Lord. And just a couple more hits, but unfortunately not fast enough. Couldn't quite catch it with the Destroyer. Oh well, we were bound to lose convoys here and there, and that'll be okay. Especially since we can claim the Seat of the Tower that gives us +5 levels to new convoy overseers, which means that we lost literally nothing in terms of levels, and just the 2 extra turns that these guys moved. Gotta remember not to send them through this direction and send them elsewhere. Which means not moving to any of the places that are to the south of us, I guess. Well, I guess we'll be traveling to some of the northern territories that we haven't been to, or the northern locations that we haven't been to as yet, immediately. Alright, we're just about out of time as well. Just want to see if anything interesting happens over at the end of this turn. As soon as it happens, and send a new convoy, of course. Alright, so sacrifice to Mathline, irrelevant, Kazadni will die, and there's that casualty or punishment rate, which we did need buildings damaged. Completely unnecessary game. But damaged only slightly. Alright, and it looks like we are still okay. I am still curious whether there are Skaven here, so we will move you to Skull Harvest. At least it's cheap to occupy. Hopefully it'll also give us a vision of what's going on everywhere. And aha, it is full of Skaven, and we're not going to declare war on them because I think we can't. It's Clan Ricket, right? Meaning we are friends with them. Kind of don't like them being in these territories. Oh, and they probably won't like us trespassing, will they? Alright, do we have a agreement with them? I guess, doesn't it usually say... Do we have immunity to trespass? Aversion, strategic threat? Well, whatever. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I guess we're moving this way then. You are going to... I'm not sure that we can risk march dancing with you. Well, maybe we can. You go here. And then you start moving this way. You had to move through these guys' territory, didn't we? I think that did that do trespassing? Yeah, trespasses against Clan Ricket, damn. Oh, well, and hey, there they are. They are there in numbers, and they're kind of sticking around the Haunted Grove. It does depend on what's in those armies, but I think we will need artillery to deal with the sheer numbers of units that they have, so we're going to have to build some artillery, which we were planning to do so anyway, but we'll do so in next episode as we are out of time. Next episode we will knock out the Mount Grey Hag Orcs for good, and then start moving the Causeway to take revenge for that convoy and destroy the Darkland Bandits. All the way possibly to Jarnagrund, or we could, well, it depends on how many territories these guys have. 3 territories, so not that much, but they are probably fairly far apart, aren't they? Oh! We could link up with the Gates of Jar here. There's potential for that. Should also probably get the ammunition caches, I guess. Another Infernal Castellan. It is 3 turns to get that Castellan, though. We can also reduce recruitment costs and armament cost reduction for increasing capacity of melee and missile infantry. And so we wait 2 turns and then, and probably next episode then, because it's only 2 turns, begin recruiting Infernal Ironsworn and Infernal Guard with Fireglaives. It's also, just so that I don't forget, send out another convoy. It'll be this one with 13, so add master, and we will send you, not this way, but this, oh. Why do we have a high threat here? Go figure. Probably just enemies of some kinds. We can try to sell some armaments, but now we're trying to keep armaments. On the other hand, we haven't been here yet, have we, to Wrath of Galrock? We did visit this place. Alright, let's try this then. 11 turns. Let's see if you manage to survive. Do wish we didn't have to waste the armaments for it, but oh well. Gotta give it a shot. Alright, anyway, calling it here. More to come, so stay tuned. We will try to deal with all of this next time, as well as try to retrofit and split off into more armies, get a few more artillery pieces, and to one of the HOB armies, and it'll all hopefully be good. Wait, 1 second, and, why does it say 4? Oh, because we can steal some of these. Armaments cost for all unit capacity upgrades in the Hellforge. Ooh, we maybe actually want to steal this one just before... steal back from Astrogoth, just before spending those armaments. There is potential for that as well. I will think about it. Decent likelihood that we do so. Anyway, likes and comments below for the bonus episode. All glory to the algorithm, threshold, yada yada. And thanks for watching.